How's everyone doing? Welcome to Craft with WAC. This week, we're making sock monsters. I'm here with my daughter Norrie, and my son Manny has joined us today. So sock monsters, to go over the ingredients or supply list, we used an old sock that has lost its pair, as well as some buttons, and leftover fabric from old t-shirts and such. You don't need a ton of fabric, you just need a little. And then for the filling, we cannibalized some stuffies that have lost their luster. You could also use rice or oatmeal for stuffing instead. We also have a needle and thread here, and scissors. We have some buttons and a hot glue gun, because not everyone enjoys sewing, so there's other options.
I hot glued most of mine.
Yeah, Norrie did a lot of hot gluing, and that's perfectly respectable. So to get started, you are going to want to cut your sock. You're going to want to figure out what part of the sock you want to use. You are going to be cutting down to make kind of the ears or the horn shape, and then you are also going to be kind of sewing the bottom up. So make it a bit bigger than what you actually want your sock monster to be. Alright. Mandy's cutting his. I don't have a lot of mismatched socks around because a month ago I got rid of them. One of those cases of the crafter hoarding the ingredients and then finally giving supplies away or throwing supplies away, and then the next week you need them. So I'm going to use the arm, or part of the arm, of a t-shirt that no longer fits my daughter. So once you have your tube of fabric, you're going to want to cut your ears or your horns.
I'm almost done cutting here.
Okay.
Mine are not even at all.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be even. Even's overrated. Okay, so Norrie cut. I'm gonna hold that up for them. Some ears, and she cut the top off of her sock. Manny, here's his section that he's going to be using.
Is that
Yeah, that's perfect. And now I'm going to cut my horns.
Oh, someone said sound?
Oh, there's no sound. I think you have to open it large on your Facebook. It can't just be in the tile. Does anyone else not hear sound?
You can hear us. Comment.
Okay, Paige can hear us. Good. So I cut my horns a little bit of a different shape. I kind of cut them that way. So once you're done cutting your shape, you're going to want to sew. That didn't work. This side isn't curly. There you go.
Thank you, Mother.
You're welcome. Manny has a little bit of thread here. He's got a knot in it already. Needles and threads always go missing at our house, like so many other things. So we only have the two that we're working with. So while they are sewing those together, I'm going to start working on the face bit. All right. So to do that, you start off by picking the fabric that's going to go here and cutting a circle. I'm going to use this really loud rambunctious.
But I use.
Yeah, I'm gonna use some of that.
It's pretty.
And I'm just gonna cut a circle out of the fabric. Again, it's a rough circle. It doesn't have to be exact. There we go. Actually, I'm going to make this into a head
Doohickey.
and body combo by almost folding it sideways and cutting a V out. Use your imagination. Any shapes can work. So there, that's how it's shaped now. And I'm going to dry fit that kind of on here just to see how it's going to look, because I'm a perfectionist. So there, you can see that.
I'm not a perfectionist.
My son says he is not a perfectionist.
So you're not a perfectionist.
Oh, I'm not a perfectionist. Only when it comes to craft, maybe. Everything else, I'm pretty much a freewheeler.
Especially when it comes to cooking.
I am not much of a cook. Listen to my kids just throwing me under the
We're
under the
roasting
bus. Roasted. These scissors do not work as well.
Yeah, we're using my old school scissors.
Scissors also have a tendency to go missing in our house. I think that's a fairly common problem in houses. Do you guys always know where your scissors are?
I already know. Dad can comment nope.
Seems like it's a common refrain. Where did the scissors go?
It's almost as if Dad lives with us.
It's almost as if.
Went to the store 5 years ago to find milk and never came back.
No, Dad always comes back with a whole lot of milk. Yeah, hand sewing is not one of
The
my.
question is, will I have enough thread?
Well, you do have a whole roll or a whole spool of thread at your avail.
I wonder what time. I wonder when Dad's coming home.
I don't know. Okay. So just keep cutting your shapes. So there's my body. And then I want some zhuzh for around the eyes. Something that would be contrasting. I go with some red. The only part you absolutely kind of have to hand sew is the top and the bottom. Everything else you can glue gun on. There's one eye shape. I'm going to use this gray
This is a mess.
for another one. Would you like me to sew yours for you?
Yes, because
Okay.
mine is just turning out a mess.
Here, I can help you. All right. So in the sewing, we're not getting fancy. We're just going to do a whip stitch. Do you want to start cutting out your shapes for your face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gray. I can basically use any color.
Yeah, your body's gray, so you've got all sorts of color options ahead of you.
Go straight for this again.
Alright.
Why wouldn't you want to go for this? It's bright and colorful.
So did anyone make the Play-Doh? That we hosted a video making Play-Doh. It was kind of like the first craft with WAC. Did anyone make any of the Play-Doh? How did that turn out for you? Alright, I'm in the home stretch here with Norrie's ears.
I'm just tying the knot.
Oh, and Manny's almost done.
I'm not. I need to sew on the other side. I ran out of thread.
Oh, okay.
Jessica made Play-Doh.
How did it turn out? We still have ours. We put it wrapped it up in a garbage bag, and we play with it occasionally. Awesome, Paige. I'm so glad that it turned out. Did anyone make postcards? We made a lot of postcards, and we really enjoyed going around and dropping them off at people we love's houses. I think we took around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's Norrie's. It's all sewn up at the top there. You can see it's ragged. That's fine. Because we're going to flip it inside out. Oh, there's a spot there that got missed. So I'm going to re-sew that one little spot. The great thing about this, as I talk to you with the pin in my mouth, is that it's supposed to look. I bet you that's your father walking in.
Yeah, Dad.
Maybe don't cut it on the table. I bet you that makes noise on the field. Threading a needle. I can tell you my eyes aren't what they used to be.
My eyes are what they are, and I still can't do it.
Apparently, Jessica measured the ingredients wrong.
Completely wrong and ended up adding. Oh dear. It turned out and it has lasted. Measuring is not a strength of mine.
How much did they use of what?
2/3 a cup of lemon juice. No. Do you want me to thread your needle for you, sir?
No.
No?
I'm quite good at threading needles.
Alright. Alright, I think that's the spot that was missed. There we go.
Hello, Daddy-o.
Alright, so then we're going to flip it right side out now that I have it done. And poke my
Ears out.
poke my fingers into the ears to make sure that they're poked out. So that's all sewn together.
Still too big.
Got her? Does anyone else suffer from seasonal allergies?
I do.
My son does. I do
I'm
also.
allergy free.
Yeah, Norrie's the
I have
Seriously?
dad's genetics.
Seriously.
lucky one.
Needle fell off.
Oh no.
I am the only one in the family who hasn't had glasses too. Dad has glasses, she has glasses. Manny had glasses.
I don't wear them.
He doesn't wear them.
Because they don't fit. They don't fit.
All right.
And I don't need them.
So I'm going to quickly whip stitch mine closed here. Again, this is a project you really only have to sew the top and the bottom. You can glue gun everything else. It's a definite way to learn a new skill. My kids had never hand sewn before. I had done some hand sewing, or at least some embroidery. I've mended a few pairs of pants, right?
Mostly mine.
Yeah.
Have some fit.
How many of you are proficient hand sewers? A few, maybe? Got it the right size now?
Yeah.
All right. So it is much easier when you are putting things together to start flat, to build all the features of your creature flat before you start attaching them, and then to attach all of those pieces together while it's flat, and then attach the made piece to it.
I'm happy we're doing this instead of school right now.
Yeah, usually we're in classes right now, so
I almost went like this, like with the scissors, but I meant to go like that.
and
They're really boring.
they're not
The
that
class.
bad.
You're bored.
You're not the one doing them.
No, but it's better than not. Yeah. We could all just repeat the class, the grade we were in.
Or we
So
can
this
just
would
like,
be option. No.
we've already moved on.
So here's my piece with my ears, and I am just threw that at me.
Sorry.
Steal some of that for a sec. Okay. I have one more eye to cut out. All this fabric we are using is
Old.
clothes that recycled or upcycled from clothes that were the children's that don't fit them anymore. So we're giving them new life. There you go.
There, I've got mine folded.
So there's my top piece all put together, and I'm going to glue it, because why not? So I'm going to start by gluing my eyes onto this piece of fabric. Just a little bit of glue, don't need much.
How?
A little bit more glue.
Someone said, how do you sew the face again?
Okay, so to do the face, you want to cut out a, it's kind of like a large circle-y shape. So for here's an example, here's Norrie's. So she cut out a circle shape, which is eventually going to go on her sock monster right there. And then the eyes will be put on top. Now it's easier to construct separately. I kind of went for like a penguin shape here, and I glued the eyes, the circle shapes, onto it. And now I'm going to, there's buttons right here if you want. I'm going to glue that onto this shape that I've made. I felt like there wasn't enough contrast between the pink fabric and the pink fabric. So I made a slightly larger blue shape, and I'll glue those on. Glue those all together. Again, if you have all the time, if you're just, you've got no other projects to do, or you've got time, or you are a proficient hand sewer, you could sew all these together, doing the whip stitch. See, I sewed all of those on, and I really like the look of that. And I just did a simple chain stitch to get that on. There's no need to hem or anything like that. So here's the start of my face. It needs a mouth now. How are you doing?
I was just poking some stuff
Okay.
through the holes. Yep.
All right.
Where did my sock go?
I don't know. Did it drop onto the floor?
Oh.
Oh, it's on her lap. Right here I have some blue plaid. No, don't like it.
Frankly.
I'm going to use what do I want to use? I'm going to use the tip of Norrie's sock for the mouth. So here I've cut kind of a triangle. The easiest way to get things even on both sides is just to fold them over. So that's what I'm gonna do. There's a little mouth. And I'm gonna glue that on. Another option is just to glue it on just to get it on, and then go back and do your sewing after. Here we go. There's my mouth. And now for eyes. You can paint the eyes on. You can paint on details. Norrie chose to paint her eyes on this one. And to do the nose and the mouth just with paint. And that works. And you can just use regular craft paint for that. Yep. I'm going to sew my eyes on now. I just have a couple of mismatched buttons here. Those are going to be the eyes. I feel like I've lost the pin now. Do you have it over there? This is, remember how earlier I talked about how pins always go missing? It's here on the table somewhere.
Did it fall in the crack? I don't know. Yeah, it did.
It did?
Right here.
Oh, it did. Nope, it's gone for good.
Well, unless we pull the table apart, but we ain't gonna do that when this is on
gone
there.
for good. So I'm gonna glue my eyes on then. There you go. And that is going to get glued here.
I just slammed my elbow against the table.
That's still good. There we go. And there's my start of my sock monster. Where'd you put all the stuffings? Can you grab me some? Okay, so here we have some of our cannibalized innards from
A stuffy.
no longer required stuffies. And I'm just going to start shoving that in the kind of pocket that I've made. Make sure you get it up into the ears or the horns. Get her up in there. And again, if you do not happen to have polyfill or
Stuffing.
stuffed animals, stuffies that you can pull apart, rice works well. Also does oatmeal. Those both work. I'm gonna need more stuffing.
Okay. You said stuffy instead of stuffing.
Sorry.
I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
I guess it could be like calling like your steak cow.
Hey, Manny.
To look for the. Will you throw at me? See if
Manny.
it's on the ground somewhere.
Your eye is like pink and watery
That's
right there.
It's allergies.
I care so much.
Can you
I'm
find
just
the needle
telling you.
for me, please?
I'm cutting this open.
So how is quarantine? You starting to get over looking at the faces that you're living with? It's hard work. Being around the same people every day, all day. So my son threw the needle at me earlier today, accidentally, and it's now lost itself on.
Be there, because I used to.
Well, where is it then?
I just used it.
So we started with 2 needles. They're both missing now.
Well, we know where one is. It's just stuck on the table.
Yeah. So here I have it all stuffed and put together. And if I had one of the 2 needles, I would then sew this together. I've tucked in the seam where the shirt is, and then when I sew it to get a rounded bottom, I sew these together using a whip stitch, and then I fold this corner
Found one.
in. Oh good, Norrie found one. Thank you.
After I'm gonna need it.
All right.
You have a needle. So is it at your house? I can help.
Yeah, Janie might have a few extra needles laying around. We've been doing quilting. Norrie has been making a quilt using
Denim.
jeans that I have given up on ever fitting me, and that works.
Hey, we found pennies.
Oh,
Oh, my horrible.
grr, So when you start sewing from the outside, like we're sewing the right side out, you're going to want to bury your knot. It's right there. So the easy way to do that is to start from the inside and go outward. So there my knot is. And I'm just going to fold that in so it's contained within the dart. And then I'm just going to whip stitch, which means you go in, you just continually go in through the same size, through the same side.
Can you help me with sewing mine after?
Yeah.
I know you got the stuffing.
Yeah, what you need.
I'm just whip stitching this closed.
Hitting my hand. There was something on the table. what are we gonna have for lunch today?
I don't know.
Mac and cheese?
Nope. I was looking at ramen recipes using ways to make the ramen that you buy at the store in the 10 for $1 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How to make those taste better. My kids have developed a taste for ramen. I don't understand it, but they enjoy it, so I'm trying to find ways to make it a little bit more.
Wow, this is definitely gonna
Healthy.
do, Mom.
Well, there, you know where the thread is. And there we go. So, to finish this up, I would whip stitch around the things. If you are going to whip stitch, I would recommend doing the sewing before you do the stuffing and closing it up. But I really wanted to show you guys how to finish this project off. There we go. Sock monsters. We're going to finish these up and we'll share pictures later today. If you make a sock monster, please send us a photo. Send us a photo to our Facebook inbox. We would love to share it with our sock monster roundup, which will be we'll be sharing those photos Friday. Next week we're going to be doing another craft. I don't know what we're making yet, and that will be done by Jessica and Bianca. So thanks for watching.
Can I get a needle?
We only have one. Norrie's using it right now. So, all right, thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Stay with your crew, right?
Lung buddies
Yeah, lung
is what
buddies.
we've been calling them.
That's what we've been calling it.
Hey, I did not.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you in a couple of weeks. Deadline for the mural project, if you were thinking about having a design in, that has been extended until the 10th of April, so you do still have a couple of more days. Can't wait to see all those designs. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Maybe if I can hit the finish button.